This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
The biggest icon in podcasting.
Welcome in, everybody, to this week's edition of the DocNJock Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Adam the Jock Straczynski. On today's show, this AEW star picks up another injury and some rumors about AJ Styles, AEW. We'll talk a little bit about that. This is your WWE Elimination Chamber Go Home podcast, where we've got the Vision possibly going blind. We're going to break it all down, sort it all out, and give you our predictions for who wins the Elimination Chamber and set us up on our road to WrestleMania. Help me break it all down, sort it all out. Take the pod that the Elimination Chamber puts you in and throws it at the industry. He's the one. He's the only. He is the Doc, John Macaroon. What's up, cuz?
Cuz, just in your intro, it looks like Logan Paul got hurt and is now no longer going to be in the Vision. Do you think it was? I saw a joke. Now you're at the point now where they have to reach so deep, they might have to call Karrion Kross to be in the Vision. They might just have to add talent. They might have to go and bring some, like, oh my God, the Vision 2.0 in March is going to be Rusev. It's going to be Karrion Kross, and it's going to be Aleister Black at this rate. My God. What? And also, too, listen, I think Jey Uso's taking a lot of heat for basically telling everybody that he wasn't going to win the match. You got to roll with it a lot better when you have a little bit of the chaos. The way he reacted, everyone kind of knew, oh, something's up here, something's wrong, and then everybody kind of figured out that and I just feel bad for Bronson Reed. How crazy is it that at the height of your career, you missed 2 WrestleManias back-to-back, and at the same time, as your top guys in your top story are falling by the wayside, AEW's putting together a couple nice stories. So it's interesting how the world of wrestling has shaken out since the last time we spoke.
Yeah, and look, at this moment in time, the Vision really does feel like what the women's tag team belts used to feel like. It feels like a curse. Like you're destined to get injured, you're destined to get hurt. And if you look at the way the Vision members are falling off and falling by the wayside, you're right. Logan Paul is next. As these guys have been brought in, and starting with Seth Rollins, then you go Braun Breaker, now Bronson Reed. It's Logan Paul, and then it's Austin Theory who are set to be taken out next. And look, Bronson Reed was supposed to win his qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber, dives in, goes to break up a pin, and ends up tearing his bicep. This guy has some of the most unfortunate luck. There was a spot where he goes to do a jump off the top rope and lands through a table. And when he does it, he ends up messing up his heel and his ankle really bad. He's been on record of saying, I wake up every morning and that pain is there and it messes up my walk, like his gait when he walks. And it's one of those things where he says he has to get kind of moving and gets everything working so he can kind of move through his day, and it's not like it's pain-free, but he's able to manage that pain. And now you turn around and you tear your bicep. If you've ever torn a bicep, or if you've ever known anybody who's torn a bicep, it's one of those things. It's absolutely horrible and gruesome. And the bicep never, ever looks the same and never really ever functions the same. It's very similar to an Achilles injury because they've got to go in there and they've got to grab that tendon. They've got to clean up the end of that tendon, and then they've got to pull it tight and re-anchor it to the bone. And so it's shorter. And because it's shorter, tendons don't necessarily like to stretch like that. It takes a long time to get it back stretched out if you're able to withstand that pain and rehab it that way. But it's just never really has the same explosion, the same strength. Once it's damaged, it doesn't ever fully heal back to 100%. Now, you might get close. 95, 97, 98%, but you're never actually at 100%. And it's really unfortunate for this guy because, like you said, all the big members of the Vision have gone down. This was kind of the de facto leader, if you want to say. He was kind of the guy that you're now hinging all your hopes on, hoping can kind of take that next step forward, kind of break through with that spotlight. Like, the Vision was put together for Seth Rollins and for Braun Breaker. Those two guys were supposed to be the highlights of that group. He was kind of the background player, and he was hoping that he would get elevated in the process. Those guys all go down. you're kind of now the guy, and then this happens. It's super unfortunate for Bronson Reed. What's your outlook for the Vision at this point? We talked about it last week, how it kind of feels like they're just a bit of a mid card team held together by Paul Heyman. At this point, Logan Paul now has to really step forward. You're going to need Austin Theory to kind of get his shit together and really take a monster step forward. And it really does feel like all hands on deck for Paul Heyman. What's your outlook for the Vision at this moment in time?
It's wild. Yeah, I think that Logan Paul's got to take it by the, take it to the next level. It's not going to be Austin Theory. He's just the guy. He's not going to be somebody I think that's going to look. And it's unfortunate when you're the masked man, you expect a little bit of a push, right? It's just like a wet fart. There's nothing to it. He's there. He shows up. I mean, hopefully he gets elevated. But I'm curious to see where it would have went, with Bronson Reed in Elimination Chamber. I would have, it'd been interesting to see how future stuff got affected, but it's just bad luck because in the end, young guys that were tabbed to get some experience at the next level don't get it. And so a lot of plans get changed. It happens, but I just feel for Bronson Reed, man, 2 years in a row with injuries heading into WrestleMania. That sucks. So, maybe the idea of the Vision goes away and Braun Breaker just does his thing with Paul Heyman. I think it's better. It was a good idea, but at the same token, you needed, guys that were available, and the best ability is availability. And when you're not, when you lose Breaker and Bronson Reed, the group is kind of over. Like, you're not going to what are you going to do? Recreate it? So I think that you tried it, you gave them an opportunity, and you just highlight Logan Paul and you get to where you need to go. But it's just disappointing where this went.
Yeah, absolutely. This was supposed to be the big thing. This was supposed to be essentially the fabric and the glue that kind of carried you into WrestleMania. And then, like we said, Seth Rollins goes down, Braun Breaker goes down, now Bronson Reed goes down, and he goes down in his challenge for the Elimination Chamber, which is a nice way to highlight a guy. And look, I don't think Bronson Reed was going to win his Elimination Chamber match. I think we both agree that Cody Rhodes is probably the guy coming out of that match, but this was a way to really put a spotlight on a guy. And instead, like you said, Jey Uso picks up the win. Jey Uso kind of breaks character, and it gets a little clunky in the match and then after the match. How much heat do you think should really be on Jey Uso for the way he reacted to everything and the way he carried himself at the end of that match and in really during that match?
Yeah. Jey Uso is right now a great entrance. He's great with the kids, but the stuff that makes you elite at the performer level, to be able to adapt in the ring, to not have many botches in the ring over the course of 3-4 months, it's tough because he gets gassed at a rate. And the funny part is that
he gets gassed during his own entrance.
Yeah, the funny part
is you to run it back.
The funny part is he goes on Cody Rhodes' podcast and acts like he's the next Bret Hart. He's like, "Dog, I can do it all." It's like, listen, you can make a lot of money. You can be, in the end, you can be Hulk Hogan. We all get it. You can be somebody that's an entrance. It sells. You can put food on the table. But at the same token, you're not that. Like, you're not WWE superstar Jey Uso. You're from the Samoans, like the true Samoans who can wrestle. So, and your cousin is Roman Reigns, who creates great matches and tells it like it is, and can sell, and every time he comes to the ring looks pristine. So it just sucks because Jey Uso, it would appear, has probably peaked in regards to his athletic performances. And it's unfortunate because you do think there's a little bit more there that he can put on the table in regards to wrestling. And maybe, again, he's only 41, so maybe there's a chance, over the next 5 years, he actually hones in on the wrestling part. Because, great, he did the superstar part, but I think his family and his legacy for the family that he's in, his family's legacy is The Rock. The Rock could wrestle, and of course, The Rock was the biggest superstar in the world, but The Rock could put together matches. So we shall see. But yeah, Jey Uso doesn't have all the tools together to be able to consistently be a performer at the professional wrestler level.
Yeah, I as much as I like Jey Uso, and you're right, he is an entrance, he's a catchphrase, he's great with the kids. He has tools just sometimes it feels like it all just kind of falls short. Like it just misses the mark a little bit. We'll see what ends up happening with Jey Uso. I do want to talk to you real quick about what took place at the very end of Monday Night Raw with AJ Styles getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Pretty quick turnaround. Did not expect him to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. This was a nice way to do it in his hometown. There are conversations and there are things being bantied about, and we kind of quickly previewed this with the intro. There were rumors that he had a deal on the table to go to AEW, and it sounds like it was a very substantial deal to go to AEW. It sounds like he's made his mind up a long time ago that he was going to retire in WWE, and he wanted to retire at the Royal Rumble, and things kind of played out the way he wanted them to play out. I don't think they necessarily played out the way we wanted it all to play out for AJ Styles. The thought is WWE puts him into the Hall of Fame, obviously deserving of it, but this is very, very quick. But this is an opportunity for WWE to kind of keep him under control. Now, he's come out and he's done a podcast with Gallows and Anderson. Basically said, look, guys, I'm retired from in-ring stuff. Like, I'm not wrestling in-ring. I said, I might do something with my kid if my kid wanted to do it in the future, but I'm done wrestling in the ring. I'm trying to figure out my next avenue working with WWE. So it doesn't sound like he's ever considered going to AEW, even though there was a substantial offer there. Him going into the Hall of Fame, I think it's a nice thing. I think the way that they did it was kind of cool because he didn't expect it. He was completely surprised. Undertaker comes out and inducts him or tells him that he's being nominated and inducted into the Hall of Fame. I thought that was a nice little touch. But what are your thoughts on AJ Styles essentially telling AEW, I'm good. I don't want to wrestle anymore. I'm doing these things that I want to do, and that's going to my kids' baseball games. It's hanging out with my kids, my wife. It's waking up every morning and not having to deal with the bumps and bruises from being on the road and just going on the road. It's just kind of doing the things I want to do. Now, it does sound like the contract from AEW was going to be a very hometowny-ish discount for him. Wasn't going to be a lot of travel. It was going to be a very wealthy contract for him to come in. And it was going to essentially give him whatever he asked for, but he doesn't want to do that. He wants to do what he's doing. So what are your thoughts on him basically saying no to AEW?
Smart,
and him getting inducted into WWE's Hall of Fame?
Yeah, did you get a chance? The WWE did a great job. There's a 20-minute vlog that they did, and he's actually talking to the camera before the match, and he's talking about retiring. He's like, it was basically a conclusion. Remember, Shinsuke put out a letter that basically told everybody the plan. And so this wasn't something that just came up. AJ Styles was tired. He told people, like, you wrestle, you've been doing it for a long, long time. He's got enough money. And at the end, you start seeing him get salutations and greetings from the boys and the gals in the back. And a poignant moment with the Bellas and I think Xavier Woods is he said, I beat the house, and with Natty. And what that means is you get out before they fire you, one, or two, you end up with a career-ending injury. And he looked really proud, like, I beat the house. And what that means is you go out on your own terms. I came in at the Royal Rumble, I get to leave at the Royal Rumble, and I get to have my moment in front of a crowd in America, put my stamp on my career, put my gloves down, I'm good. And I think in the end, and I think guys like AJ Styles, it's similar to a real pro athlete at the NFL level, where when you start to think, the age-old adage is, when you start to think about it, you should retire. You should just absolutely retire because you don't have the fortitude to just do it. Yes, he could have great matches with anybody. He could take, a deal for 2 years and wrestle 5 times. But that's not AJ Styles. He doesn't need to do that. Yeah, he doesn't need to be a dream match guy. He likes the entire picture that he had. He just came off of Mount Everest. Why is he going to go to another mountain? It's like, you just came off of Mount Everest. Like, I'm good. I'm at the top of the world. Yeah, I could go challenge myself at Mount Kilimanjaro, great. It'd be fun and you get the thrill and someone would pay me to do it. But you've reached the pinnacle. You did it for 10 years and you felt like, you know what, I'm good. And then WWE treated him like, which is weird is that, they treated him so much better in retirement than they really probably did the last 3 years of his career. But in the end, he got over the first 4 years with matches against John Cena, the Rumble ovation. They really, it's so true because you don't know what you got until it's gone. And once people realize, oh my God, AJ Styles is done, you just realize that generation of Bret Hart, you just lost to Bret Hart, a Shawn Michaels. And everybody knew that when AJ Styles was in the ring. And I do think that, yes, there's always going to be respect for the superstar. There's always going to be a respect for a Hulk Hogan and a guy that has a saying and makes a lot of money. That's great. But people revere. And I think Triple H is the same thing because of the guy who's in charge. Triple H reveres wrestlers, guys that put their body on the line, that do moves, that try things, that do it for a long period of time, and are able to create wrestling matches. So, and I think Triple H honored him the right way. It was great to see. And then seeing The Undertaker come out, it was just great. And I'm so thankful that at least AJ Styles was there because a lot of the radio shows were like, well, I wonder if they haven't advertised AJ Styles. I mean, come on, it's in Atlanta. That would be an ultimate slap in the face if he wasn't there. So I'm just happy to see it. It's sad that he's not going to be there. But listen, I also think that having options gives him a little bit of leverage with WWE. I'm sure they gave him $1 million a year just to do podcasts. He can do the Performance Center. He can coach. He can just do whatever. He can just hop on a meeting a couple hours a week with Triple H. What do you think about this guy? Send me some film. What do you think about this? A Trick Williams. Hey, let me add a different moveset cycle here. Boom, boom, boom. But the one thing that disappointed me was the ass crowd in Atlanta. How are you not going to cheer for Abyss? Like, what are you guys, like, dumb? It was Abyss on television. I was like, oh, that's Abyss and Frankie Kazarian. And it was like radio silence. And I thought it was disrespectful. But at the same token, it was cool to see at the very end the TNA photo that was taken. But, what are you going to do? These crowds suck and they make the shows worse. but in the end, AJ Styles is a Hall of Famer. I can't wait for the speech.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, the crowd should know. Listen, if you're going to pay $300 a ticket, damn near cheer. Or how do you not? You do not know who Abyss is? I mean, in Atlanta, at least, yeah, I get it. Maybe you don't know the history of AJ Styles and people don't know their history, but I thought it was disappointing because it was cool. It was Abyss, and everybody didn't land the way that it should have. But in the end, AJ Styles, it was done very well, very classy, and he deserved everything that he got. And I think that he's gonna be a part of the next generation of great wrestlers. Like, come on, AJ Styles working with Javon Evans, that's just gonna make Evans gonna be a legendary wrestler. Working with Ethan Page and the next generation, even working with Oba and Trick, all the little tricks and just watch the vlog. You can just see the respect that all the people had of the things that he would tell. I think he had Kalani Jordan in the back and talking to her about, taking chances and being herself and not being scared. All those little nuggets of information, a guy like that delivering it will keep the wrestling part of the business very, very strong.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You ready to get into this Elimination Chamber for us to give some predictions here?
Elimination Chamber, baby. I'm excited. It's going to be unique, but at the same token, I do think that there's an opportunities to go a bunch of different ways. I'm curious to see your sense of it. Even though I'm down in the rankings, let's predict Elimination Chamber. What day is it air on, baby?
So it's going to be this Saturday.
Okay.
I believe it's going to be at 8 o'clock is when it's going to start. It's going to be airing from Chicago. So CM Punk is going to close the show. He's going to be the hometown boy.
Win, yes. CM Punk wins. We both know it.
Yes. CM Punk does win. All right, so we'll put that down. We'll start there. So WWE World Heavyweight Title match: CM Punk, Finn Balor. Again, writing's on the wall. It's CM Punk all day. He wins this match. No questions about it. It to me feels like it's a little bit disrespectful for Finn Balor. Hopefully we get a nice storyline that comes out of this match with Finn Balor and possibly the Judgment Day, and we'll see where that goes. We then have AJ Lee taking on Becky Lynch for the women's IC title. I'm gonna go AJ Lee again. This to me feels like a feel good show, and so she is hometown girl. I don't know if it's necessarily by default because she's married to CM Punk, but she's from the Chicago area because they live there. I'm going AJ Lee. She gets her WWE Women's Intercontinental title, and I think that they're going to try to make her a Grand Slam champ
Eventually,
as this kind of wears on with her contract. So I think this is the first step to doing that.
I agree. And a quick sidebar. Oh, look how the stars just misaligned. Guess who's on McAfee today? Randy Orton. Could you imagine he's walking through the convention center? He's walking one way and I'm walking the other way. You know what I'm doing, right? You know what I'm doing, right? I'm flashing the arms up in front of everybody. He'd be looking at me like, oh, hell no. I would just stop and be like, Mr. Randy. And he'd look at me, and I just put my arms up. Just picture it. Oh, and I do it slowly, too. Oh, I missed it. I missed my chance. Randy Orton, check it out on McAfee, talking about kayfabe, all that good stuff. Oh, my God. That's the one thing. That's the next step. And then just a quick sidebar, I did meet Tony Khan for about one brief nanosecond. He was racing like a 40-yard dash to a meeting, but he was nice enough to say, oh, I got to go to a meeting. Come back soon. It was.
For those who don't know, Doc just got back from the NFL Combine.
Yes.
He was down there checking stuff out for the Lions. We do another show. Go check it out, the DocNJock show, where we talk.
Yes, sir.
He does a lot of stuff with SI. Go check it all out. He does a fantastic job covering your Detroit Lions if you're from the Detroit area. So he got to interact with a lot of people. What was Tony Khan like? Well, we kind of do a quick sidebar.
It was. He appears like he's always 5 minutes late to everything. You know what I mean? He's always, you know what I mean? He's like, that's how he looked. He looked he's walking at a brisk pace. I said, Mr. Khan, and he just he said to go to a meeting, and that's how it is. It's hustle and bustle. There's a lot of meetings, a lot of things going on. People at the Starbucks going through I'll give you free advice if you're ever in the area stay at the JW Marriott. If you can afford it, you can go sit in the Starbucks and just people watch. You can see the Super Bowl coach. You can see a bunch of agents. You can see maybe potentially wrestlers that are in town. It's a big deal. And I would have loved to have seen McAfee or Randy Orton. That would have been cool. But, the stars were not aligned just yet. But maybe it's going to happen if I manifest it. One day, he'll be walking, and just when he least expect it won't be an RKO out of nowhere. It'll be a flex, a DOC flex out of nowhere, arms up slowly, and he's going to know the message right away. And good shit there. So it's good times, man. Wrestling. I love McAfee for the ability to bridge the gap and have some content. Even at the Combine when he's doing NFL stuff, he brings in the wrestlers. And what a great thing that WWE has with Pat McAfee being that bridge to the massive audience that he can bring that are new eyes. So that's cool stuff. Check it out. It's Thursday's interview with Randy Orton is on Pat McAfee's On Demand YouTube. So interesting stuff. Let's go. Let's keep it rolling with Elimination Chamber.
All right, so we got our men's Elimination Chamber match. You got Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, who you've seen, LA Knight, Javon Evans, Jey Uso, who got in by default, so I don't think he's winning anything, and Trick Williams. I feel like this is a huge spot for guys like Trick Williams and Javon Evans. I think Javon Evans is going to put on a fantastic show. A monster spot for a guy like Trick Williams to get over. They were to give him the dub ski here. I think that would be huge. That being said, I kind of feel like we know what WrestleMania plans are. It's going to be Cody Rhodes. It's going to be Drew McIntyre. We'll see if Jacob Fatu gets into the mix, but I'm going Cody Rhodes for this one.
I wonder if they would pivot, but at the same token, I agree with you. You got to have marquee power. You need to finish the feud off, so give me Cody Rhodes as well.
All right, we then switch gears to the women's Elimination Chamber match. You've got Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Kiana James, who got a huge win last week to make it into the Elimination Chamber. Again, I feel like it'd be a fantastic thing for Kiana James, kind of highlight her a little bit. Raquel Rodriguez, I think it'd be a really awesome story for her if she could pick up the win. Tiffany Stratton just recently did a podcast where she talked about if she won, she wants to take on Jade Cargill. She mentioned that Jade Cargill in their match really messed up her knee, and that's why she's been sidelined. Trying to read between the lines there. Not sure if it's kayfabe or if it's real life. But she's got an axe to grind, it sounds like. So who do you have picking up the win here?
This is a tough one, right? Who do you got?
Yeah, this one is difficult. Like, I could see Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill mixing it up. I don't necessarily want to see that, but I could see that. I think Alexa Bliss getting the win. I think you could then add a little bit of tension between her and Charlotte. Makes for an interesting story. Asuka, I'm not really sure what we're doing with Asuka right now. All that being said, I'm going to go with Tiffy time. I'm going to go with Tiffany Stratton. I think she gets the win. My second pick would be Raquel Rodriguez. If I had to pick another one, to be Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah, no, it's. I would love it to be new blood, but I agree with you. I think it's going to be Tiffy time.
All right, Tiffany Stratton. So we take a quick look back at everything. We are in agreement on everything here. We both have Cody Rhodes coming out of the men's elimination chamber. We both have Tiffany Stratton winning the women's. We both have AJ Lee being your new Intercontinental title winner. And we both have CM Punk retaining his WWE Heavyweight Championship. We take a quick look at calling the card. I lead by 6. Would you like some news? You want to talk AEW or do you want some news and notes? Where do you want to go? 'Cause for AEW, I felt like Dynamite was a good show. They had to rewrite the show on the fly. Sounds like a lot of people were sick and dealing with different things. I thought the big thing coming out of AEW this week was the MJF and Hangman Page segment, where we find out that Hangman Page is going to get his way and it's going to be a Texas death match at Revolution. I felt like it was clunky. I felt like what they were, I could see what they were trying to do. I don't necessarily think it came off the best. I don't think it necessarily worked the best. In the end, we kind of got there. The thing that kind of looms over all of it is still Hangman Page going full Cody Rhodes, saying that he's not going to challenge for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship if he doesn't beat MJF. And I think that kind of paints them into a bit of a booking corner. Overall, I thought it was a good show. I thought it was really highlighted by the main event, which was absolutely explosive. It was a multi-man tag match where you had guys going through tables, guys getting super kicked all over the place. It was absolutely bonkers, and I thought that was really and truly the highlight of this week for AEW's Dynamite program. Any thoughts on Dynamite this week?
I thought they did a good job. I think that Swerve kind of explaining himself was real interesting. I like the fact that he's doing what he needs to be doing, so I'm very happy with an angle that I think is going to end up paying off big time.
Hopefully it does pay off the way we want it to pay off. And look, Swerve, he's gone heel. He's back to what he was. So no big surprise there. There was a women's tag team match on AEW, and that's where this AEW star picked up another injury. So on Wednesday night's AEW's Dynamite show, there was a rematch that took place for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championship with Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron defending their titles against Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, with Lena Cross at ringside. However, the match was seemingly cut short after Lena Cross got involved. You could see a lot of people kind of scrambling along the sidelines and trying to adjust what was going on in the ring on the fly. Lena Cross ends up getting involved, hits Willow Nightingale with the title, causing a disqualification, which kind of left a little bit of a wah type of finish. During the match, Penelope Ford seemingly suffered an injury to her foot. She did a move off the top rope to the floor, and she wasn't really seen for the rest of the match after that. This led to her being taken out of the rest of the match, as well as her not being present after the match, as Bayne and Cross posed with the titles above their head. Per fans in the arena, Ford was told to stay down after suffering the injury, and she was then snuck to the back by doctors as the run-in with Cross happened. We don't necessarily know what happened to Penelope Ford's foot at this time or what the significance is of the injury. So we'll keep you posted on that. But Penelope Ford just coming back from a UCL injury, spending a lot of time away from the ring, now picks up another injury, and this time it's to her foot, maybe ankle. We'll see what happens. But that's going to do it for this week's wrestling news and notes, my brother.
Yes, sir. Great opportunity for Elimination Chamber. Listen, this is, delicate because you're right there ahead of WrestleMania season. So I just hope everybody comes out of it unscathed. It's violent. It's crazy. Let's just hope everybody is able to make it to WrestleMania. And it feels like having this contraption right before WrestleMania is scary. So I just hope that CM Punk makes it and wins. I hope that everybody comes out safe. And if there are surprises, I do hope that maybe Trick Williams gets a chance or maybe a Raquel Rodriguez. We'll see. Maybe there's a swerve that needs to take place. in order to get things out of the muck, because the other big story is WrestleMania ticket sales are just real flat and everybody's talking about it. So we shall see if after Elimination Chamber in the next 7 days following it, we can get out of the mud a little bit and just give us some reason to be excited for WrestleMania, because at this point in time, nobody's really enjoying the buzz that's leading up to WrestleMania. Make sure you follow Adam on X at AdamRSTROZ. Follow the network at Detroit Podcast. Thanks to everybody that's been engaging and talking wrestling. It's been great. The world of professional wrestling is doing some great stuff. A lot of good podcasts. Like I said, WWE's podcast network is cranking out a lot of good content. And another sneaky one, just if you're interested in them. I really do like Eric Bischoff's podcast. It's very measured, and he just gives his experience with Conrad. And there's another one too. If you like JD from New York, he's paired up with Solid Monster on Tuesdays. Those shows tend to recap over a course of like 3.5, 4 hours, and they hit on everything in just a straight-laced kind of way. So if you're looking for some additional content besides the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast, it's out there. Make sure you enjoy it. So for us, all you got to do is keep subscribing and keep engaging. If you're new, make sure that all you got to do to find us is type in on the Google machine, Detroit Sports Podcast, and our content will find you when you subscribe. Appreciate everybody, and I look forward to breaking it all down next week, the Elimination Chamber review on the next episode of the Doc and Jock Wrestling Podcast.